Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are here with an agent who knows how to find a way. Michael Terbet, thanks for being here, big dog.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
I'm glad.
I'm excited because usually I'm not the one being interviewed. This is fun.
Yeah, you got your podcast going. You're always
got
doing
my cold beer. I'm ready.
Beer. I love it. Cool. Well, dude, thanks for being on this interview and just shedding some light. I mean, you've had some really great successes and been able to serve a lot of clients. And I just want to give some people some insight into that journey. So how long have you been in real estate?
I just have started my 15th year, August of 06 was when I started. So 15 years just coming up.
Yeah. And where do you sell at?
I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina, or what we like to call the Triangle.
Yeah. I'm acting like I don't know. But yes, definitely.
But let me backtrack on that. I work with my mom, and she's been doing it now 34 years.
Wow. So combined, you guys, 50 years in real estate combined there. That's pretty dang awesome. And so talk to us a little bit, like the main thing I want to talk about is that killer $100,000 month that you had and ultimately some of the changes you had to make and the journey you had to make and all that kind of stuff. And then we'll get into more like relevance about what you're doing today, because I think a lot of people find themselves in a really weird situation right now with COVID and all that kind of stuff. So tell us a little bit about life before the success that you guys had.
You hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you great.
You hear me okay? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me check one thing. Let me check my bike. Okay, cool. Well, let me just back. So, as I mentioned before, I'm kind of hearing an echo, but it may be on my end. But been doing this 15 years. Mm-hmm. Prior to getting into real estate, I always, I grew up in it, and my mom, who is a very top producer, big top producer in the area, just made it look easy. So, make a really long story short, I was coaching college basketball, decided I wanted to get into real estate, just thought it would be easy, got involved before the financial crisis. So I've seen a lot. Came out on the back end. We have a team in which I help mentor and coach our agents on our team. Mm-hmm. And I wanted more. I'm a former athlete, high school level, coach, and I wanted accountability. And I knew that the great thing about this profession is that there's absolutely no ceiling. It takes a lot of hard work, but you wake up every day unemployed. But at the end of the day, you are dictating on how much you can make. And I almost looked at it as a competition. So I came across this guy named David Keesee on Facebook, cross country. And I remember I saw your ad, and you just spoke to me, man. So I remember I applied, we set up a call. I think I signed up within 4 minutes. I can't remember how long. And then the guy named Tim Stout called me. And that's coming up on 3 years, I believe, around April this time. And you guys just kind of opened the light or put it in front of me on what we can accomplish together in regards to marketing, social media. And I'm one of those people where I just had my coaching call with Tim today. And I said, just give me my 5 things to do this week. And I'm a task guy. And he gave me what I needed to do starting. I remember my first call, I had to read Eat the Frog. And he also said, I want a market update video by next week. And I remember my first video. It's funny when it comes up on my timeline, I'm like looking, I'm like, I am Michael Terbet. And man, it just started from there. So before that, I was still making about, in our market, our average sales price, now our average sales price is $405,000. So we do a lot of units, but at the, versus volume per se. Mm-hmm. But a few years ago, I was my goal every year was making $100,000. I was like, if I make $100,000, Santa Claus can come, everybody's happy, we're good. But then I wanted more. So the first year that I started with you guys, it was really half a year. I've been writing 27 units. Can't remember exactly the volume, but then the next year I did 40, just under 50. And then last year I did 57 with 21 million. But in that time, just really concentrated on my marketing, social media presence, my ubiquity. I didn't even know what that word meant until I talked with you. Yeah. And here we are. And I've really just, I've made what I do fun, but concentrate daily on the right mindset, because it's very easy to tell yourself things that aren't true. And I know that putting in the time, that work, the relationships with my past clients, my sphere. As you can tell, Super Turb. I've taken a branding. I've got it on everything, guys. I mean, it's just what I do.
Yeah.
And then here we are. So now, I have bigger goals this year. We've got some challenging times. People say there's no, people from the outside looking in that may not know our market don't really understand the obstacles we're facing. It's not a healthy market per se, in the fact that there's not a lot of inventory. There's a lot of buyers out there that can't get off the sidelines, but that's where we come in to try to help them accomplish their goals and continue that drive. And I think my hashtag is Coach Turb for that reason, is I set up a game plan for us to get to the finish line together.
Yeah, man. And I've trained and coached thousands and thousands of agents, and you bring something to the table, man. It's really an obsession about how do I continue to raise the level of service? How do I continue to help people, like especially in today's market, like with the challenges that you have, you're just so obsessed with it. But I want to go back to something that you said, and something that I've actually found you to be a master at. You've become really good at this idea of marketing and ubiquity. And I watched that transformation happen, right? It didn't seem like it was always like that, but then it seemed like you took this skill set on, much like somebody in basketball saying, you know what, I'm going to be really good at 3-pointers. And I'm just going to master that. And that wasn't my thing, but now I've learned how to do it. And now you get like a Steph Curry, right? That's boom, boom, boom. It's just going to hit him from anywhere. And that's kind of like how you are at marketing now. Like you understand the fundamentals and the psychology around marketing, it seems like, in a way that you didn't before. Can you talk a little bit about how you dove into that? Because I think that is like the biggest challenge that agents have, is that they think that marketing doesn't work, or there must be some kind of trick or something like that. But really what I saw with you was this level of mastery. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, I think once I told myself I don't care what people think of what I do, it just opened up everything. I think when people get on social, it's amazing. We have a great team here. I help coach and mentor our agents. And the amazing is all I got to do is bring out a camera or a video or my phone, and they're like, and I try to explain to them. And I remember you guys helping me with this, is that 90% of people watch video, yet only 10% of people do it. But the trick to it is longevity. It's the long game. It's execution, then patience. You just can't think, I'm going to do this video. You can always tell when people get back from a conference, obviously pre-COVID, or it's the new year. You see that one video and then not see them again because people don't see the results. And so I remember telling myself, okay, I want to start out. I remember you broke it down fantastic in regards to someone that's just starting out is making that graph or a box of each week of doing a video for 12 weeks. First week could be a market update. Second video, social proof. Third video, local business. Fourth video, what's going on in the market. That's 4 videos. You repeat it 3. That's all of a sudden now you're starting to build a library. That's why I started my Tuesday tips with Turb, because I'm thinking, I remember actually it was a good friend of mine I went to high school with, and she said, everybody just expects people to know what real estate is or what you do. The fact of the matter is we have an attention span of the goldfish now, like really short. The average person watches 3 seconds of a video and they don't have sound on. So my thought was, okay, well, what if I do just helpful tips minute at a time every Tuesday? And I had it in my calendar to remind myself to do every Tuesday. And then it just comes with practice. I first started out doing with storylines on Instagram because I can see myself. I remember I would do it in portrait mode because I could see straight on. Landscape mode, you got to know where you're looking. And it was just practice. And then once you just kind of going, you become, and you make it fun. And I think people see the real you when you're doing your videos. And the fact of the, the biggest thing is just getting out of your own way. And that's what I did. And now it's just become more and more. And I look at things too. So when I coached college basketball, I was in charge of recruiting. So I had to recruit kids to come to Arkadelphia, Arkansas. Exactly. And we had to stand out. And this was 2002 to 2006. But it's the same thing when we market. I tell our team, like you can just do a video if you want. But if you take the time and you put it out there, like, for example, your logo, your hashtags, the way you edit it, pretend you're recruiting people you haven't met before. They're watching from afar. And that's where we also get caught up on views and likes and engagements and shares. Your call yesterday was fantastic. I'm one of them. Oh, my gosh, I don't have so many views. But at the end of the day, they're watching. I'll be out with friends. They're like, Tuesday tips with Derb. Tuesday, or
Isn't
they will
that
say
crazy?
comments. They'll say comments, and you're building yourself. And I remember the Super Turb thing came when I remember I was talking with Tim, and I said, "Hey, I'm going to do a Super Turb video." He's like, "When are you having it out?" I'm like, "Oh, next Thursday." And I remember I predicted the whole. I've only done 2, but it's taken a life of its own. You can see I have a podcast now. I've got
it's awesome.
logos behind me. Anyway, just mainly just getting out of your own way. I know that's a long story. I'm a talker, but that's just really it. And then knowing your numbers, being the expert, knowing the stats, the inventory, prices, because by knowing that, and you have a conversation with someone you don't know, a stranger, you've got them. You've captivated them. They know you're the expert. Perfect example. I showed a house the other day. The sellers were selling it themselves. It was a discount. It was a limited service company. So they were a very, very nice couple, and they were blown away. Their home was listed for $925, so high end for our area. And they couldn't believe the amount of calls that were coming in. My clients are in the backyard. We decided to hold off, but I started chatting with them. The husband pulls up a chair, and I'm just telling them stats, pre-COVID, what's happened, why everyone's coming from out of state. We have 70 people coming here today. Their eyes light up, and then all of a sudden, So I'm always telling our team, and that's why it's so important just to be continuously letting people know what's going on, and that's what's going to separate yourself from the competition.
For sure. And it's not even just, and you can speak to this probably too, is that, yes, there's knowing your market stats, right? And it's critical, right? Like how do you, it blows me away how people market blindly. Like they do a marketing strategy and you're like, okay, well, if we look at the numbers of the market, is that like the angle we should be taking? And they're like, I didn't even consider that, right? So knowing your market numbers, but then also knowing like your actual lead generation numbers, your lead conversion numbers, how many presentations do I have to get on a contract? I'm like, knowing the numbers, there's like a secret code that if you know the numbers, marketing becomes obvious. Like people a lot of times are like, well, I don't know what to do content on. Well, you don't know your numbers, because if you knew the market and what the numbers on, the numbers literally tell you what to do it on. And now you're not copying what somebody else is doing. You're speaking directly to the consumer in a relevant fashion. But there was a couple things you said here. You said, get out of your own way, right? And I actually put down, get out of your own damn way. Because it's just so critical, right? Like how many times does somebody go to do that video and they pull up their phone and then they're like, oh, but wait a minute, right? And what I've noticed with you is like, and I want to go back to this thing that you said, you have fun. Where was the transition from it being so serious and like nerve-wracking to screw this, I'm just going to have fun?
Again, just when I told myself, I don't care. I mean, the line I always tell our agents is, make it cool where your haters brag, they know you. I mean, it's,
well, you took it to another even level. It's not even that you're just unattached, which is something we teach a lot, right? Like to be unattached and not care, but like you took it to like, dude, when I watch your videos and your marketing, it looks like you're having a blast.
It is. I can't explain it. People tell me, I take vitamins every morning. But other than that, I just am myself. I think once I could tell myself when I'm talking to the camera or phone, I'm just talking to someone in front of me, and people know my personality. And I think that comes through because that's the real me. I really try to keep my mindset in the right place.
You said something interesting. I want to stop you right there. You said that's the real me.
Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, that's what I get. When you see me, that's what you get. Obviously, I'm professional too. And I know how, I mean, when you're negotiating 7-figure deals, it doesn't matter the number. Every deal is the biggest investment for that particular client at the time. Mm-hmm. But it's just being me, and they know. I mean, there's going to be a few things about me. I think that's something else that I always tell our agents is, if you're not, first of all, we're salespeople first.
Yeah.
If you can't put your arms around or hands around, idea of that, then you're in the wrong business. At the end of the day, if someone comes across here's my name, they're going to know a couple things. 1, I sell real estate. 2, huge Panthers fan. 3, I love Beagles, and of course my family. Like, they know right away what they're getting with me on how I let everyone see me. Other than that, it's almost like you were saying, equivalent to, when I was playing basketball, I had dreams of being a Division I player. I couldn't jump over a New York phone book, so I had to coach. And but it'd be the same as I knew if I wasn't out shooting, someone else was out shooting. Someone else putting 1,000 jumpers up. In this case, it's more videos. It's funny, if I don't get to something, I start getting the shakes. Like someone else cares when really they're probably not. Like I had to reschedule my podcast today because my guest wasn't feeling well. So no problem, we'll go next Thursday. But I was like, don't worry, I'm going to let everybody know we're rescheduling. I mean, at the end of the day, no one probably noticed, but it was me. I still, put it back out there professionally. And, but as I go, then I just try to see how I can get better. Like for Christmas, I got a Canon EOS M50, vlogging camera. I'm just trying to bring people in on that side of what we do. And at the end, and also helping people. I listened to one podcast from Gary Vaynerchuk about 3 years ago, and his sister is actually a real estate agent. And this also is where I got other ideas from, is he said, I'd give it, one is empathy and give everything for free. Give advice, help people. They're going to gravitate you. And you also say that. And then also picking up on helping local businesses and helping people. And that's where I started my podcast. I talk real estate, business, sports, and beer in the triangle. But with the idea of bringing on a local business owner, entrepreneur, a coach, really anybody that wants to tell their story that I can help promote. Because at the end of the day, now when they're always asking, what are you doing this for? I'm like, well, I want to help you. But if you hear anybody buying or sell real estate, I love the opportunity to gain their business. So what are they going to do? Scratch my back. So
yeah, of course. And what's interesting about that is I just had before I get to my next topic, I got to ask you this question. In the triangle, so is that a basketball term or is that your local? Is that a local term?
That's a local. So the triangle is Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill.
Isn't there a basketball term that's the triangle too?
That's Tobacco Road.
What's didn't Phil Jackson have like a strategy?
Oh no, you're thinking of the triangle offense. So
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, so no, that's not geographically here. You're thinking of a triangle offense, which is a very good offense. No, Tobacco Road is in.
You're talking about basketball, right?
So funny story. So we moved here when I was 7 years old from San Jose. My dad's a retired captain with American Airlines, so we flew out here because they were opening up a hub in the late '80s, and he did actually some of his Air Force training in near the coast. It's slipping my mind anyway. It'll come to me. And he came to my mom. Obviously, I was 7. They're like, let's move to Raleigh. So she comes out. We move out here, and she got in real estate. Well, all I knew coming in here was either football or baseball. I didn't play basketball. You better play basketball here. 5th grade, my mom made me. Just get me out of the house. And it bit me like a bug. And then, of course, because of her, it was Kinston, North Carolina. Couldn't think of it, where my dad used to have cadets in his training. But because of her, I lived in Arkadelphia, Arkansas for 4 years coaching. But here, so Tobacco Road is NC State, North Carolina, Duke, Wake Forest. Back in the day in the ACC, we only had 9 conference teams, really 8 until Florida State joined. So that's it. Yeah, basketball is huge here. Like Roy Williams retired yesterday. Like people stopped. Like it's a big deal anyway. But here, and then of course you have Duke and Carolina, which is that rivalry. We're 9 miles apart. And you can't like both. I remember my son, we're big Dukies. And the State, poor guys, they're kind of caught in the middle. But my son goes, why can't we like both, Dad? I'm like, which just doesn't happen. You can't do that. And so anyway, it's a lot of fun.
We like both.
Hey, but I still sell homes and help Carolina fans. So I'm good.
Yeah, if it's not sport, I'm all game.
Yeah.
So interesting. So two topics I want to talk about here that I think could really serve the people listening to this is, number one, we hovered on this topic, but if anybody's listening here, I think it's important to understand, because you've mastered this. And I think it has a large part to do with your success, is this idea that I've been telling people, you are a personal brand. Like as a personal brand, what I see agents do is all they do is like real estate on their social media, just real estate. And it's like, okay, dude, like we know, we get it. You're a real estate agent, but there's these other factors. You said anybody who knows me knows I'm a Panthers fan. Anybody who knows me knows that, that you're a coach. They know these things. And so what I've actually been, and I've been testing this in my own life as well as, giving it to you guys, is this idea of like, if you want people to listen to you, if you want people to relate to you, if you want people to send you business, know you, like you, trust you, why don't you market some of the things that are actually, I don't know, you, rather than just real estate? And if you'll notice this, for the people listening to this, make some posts on your social media that say business or real estate and watch how low that engagement is. And then make a post about you enjoying something that, I don't know, that you love dancing or whatever it is, and watch the engagement there. So like, could you speak a little bit to that about how did Terb become a personal brand like Super Terb?
I don't, I mean, I just, my wife is funny because she is so patient. She's so patient. I mean, she's
well, she'd have to be with you, right? I mean, she'd have to be, because
we're the perfect balance. I'm an extrovert. She's an introvert. A lot like my mom and dad, my dad. I mean, my dad has a strong voice. I mean, like,
funny how that works.
Whenever we go out, people are like, "How do you handle him?" Like, you know, because I'm always like, "Hey, it's bro, storyline," you know. So everyone's gonna know. Everyone's gonna know what we're doing, and I'm passionate about certain things, and I just talk about it. I think I have to remind myself, though, at times to say, let's post other things that are relevant that people want to hear about, because we can get caught very easily just repeating ourselves on that aspect. So I just
how did you lean into the personal brand? Because the personal, in my opinion, as your coach, watching from the outside, the personal brand is what made you
I think what I told myself was, if we didn't have a brand in 5 years, we're all glorified telemarketers. With the competition that we have coming in, whether it's Zillow or these big companies where people can say, hey, Alexa, who's the best agent? Or Alexa, who do I need to call? Where's this guaranteed offer? I just knew that, one, my nickname was Terb anyway, and that's with a B and not a D. I always, clear that up. And second is, people will remember that. So then I'm like, all right, well, then how can I bring that another level, and we'll be Super Terb and have fun? And so when people hear Terb, they're going to know what they get. And then, of course, I started to marketing, meaning I'm very big with Camp Gladiator. Unfortunately, the last year kind of threw a wrench in a lot of schedules, but I helped sponsor. With Camp Gladiator is just a workout, outdoor workout, CrossFit kind of deal. So we have what we call CG Games, and I would sponsor that. So I bought 600 cooling towels with my logo on it, and the Super Terb logo, and
I've gotten them in the mail.
Number.
I mean, California, I get them in the mail.
And I got koozies, and then I would do client appreciation events, which I can't wait to get back to. I mean, if you notice right now, this is what I have on. Like anytime. So I started, just branding that way. And then before you know it, everyone's just saying Super Terb, and not being afraid of what people will say. So I just this was a big deal for me, because I grew up with my mom, and my mom, she sold over $1 billion in real estate, $1 billion. I mean, number 3 internationally at one point in RE/MAX. She was the 9th member to join
she's
this
a
region.
champion.
And so when you're on a family team, the people's first reaction is, they're just going to get, she's going to give them everything. You're going to ride your coattails. So it's a big challenge. So exactly. So, but it's a blessing in almost a little bit of a curse sometimes, having a name. But I am so thankful for it. But I knew I had to start separating myself. So this past February, I made the cover of the Triangle Real Producers magazine.
I saw it.
And,
boom.
And I remember telling the Aaron Thomas, who is part of, owns, helps run the company, the bags. I said, bro, I'm doing this on the cover, and he thought I was joking, but he also knew Terb's going to have fun, because every time, like, you'll see those magazines, David, and you always have the agents. They're like doing this.
Yeah. Yep.
Nah, bro. I was like, boom, and so I just put it out there. But I think it's also not being afraid of what people think of you. I mean, and I think that's our biggest fear. And something else that I learned with you is that the brain's a muscle, man, and it's our worst enemy. So, when you have ego, people think ego is people that brag. Dude, ego can do a lot of bad things and get in your mind of why you don't want to do something, or that's not going to work, or I'm not. And we're all human, so we're all going to have those moments. So
and so I guess here's the way I've said it, bro, is that, like, in marketing, you have to be more committed to the message than you are to your fears.
Yeah.
You got to commit more to that message. And here's the thing, though, that I want everybody to listen. Like, it's not like Terb was one day like, you know what, I'm gonna start doing videos, and I'm gonna have this brand. And I did a couple videos, and boom, it took off. I mean, this was a process. You were doing these videos over and over, much like your coach, Tim. When I was coaching Tim did it for 4 months straight with no results whatsoever. And I remember it's the only time he's ever questioned me. He was like, "Coach, are you sure about this?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Okay." And he kept doing it. And in month 6, wham, he never looked back. Right. Yeah. So it's that ability to continue moving forward and be more committed to the message than you are the fears. Now, I want to wrap this up because I noticed this about you. What role does you... I'm okay. We're all right. What role does your performance, like your personal performance, your mindset, how you feel, your body, those kinds of things, like you said, you take vitamins and all that kind of stuff. What role does that play in you having the energy to be a great marketer?
I think it's huge. And that's where this year was kind of tough on us all with COVID. It got us out of our routines. The people at DoorDash and Grubhub know me well. And and I like I said, I like to partake in malt beverages. So, I put on a little bit of weight. However, I'm training. I'm going to run my 3rd half marathon in May, which got pushed from last year.
That's good.
So I try to exercise. I'm not going to be entering. There it is. Yeah, that's awesome. But I'm not. I'm not entering into a body contest or anything like that. But I think just keeping your mind fresh. I jog. It's nothing that I enjoy, but it's amazing what I think about when I run, and then I feel better. Your stress levels, I can feel that decrease. And if I'm not, I try to listen to podcasts. Or anything that's helping me mentally when I run. Because like tomorrow, I'm going to run 6 miles. It gets boring. I'm not very fast, 10-minute miles. So I'll try to listen to something where I can, I remember listening to David Goggins' book when I ran. And anytime now I get tired, I'm like, bro, I know I can. If
you're running and you want to keep going, listen to David Goggins.
Yeah. I remember saying, dude, I can make it 5 more minutes. I have a feeling I can do this. So, yeah, but it's those things that just keep me mentally in sharp. And I'm a night owl too. So I don't need a lot of sleep, but I can tell and I also sleep better after I exercise. But that's the key is having the right, that just being prepared,
feeling good. Really tough to be a great marketer when you don't feel good.
Mm-hmm. One thing I wanted to touch on though about the marketing and just is I also geek out on it. I started obsessing. Okay, there's this thing called YouTube that you can look at and learn stuff. So I tell people that's where I learned. I remember the very first thing Tim told me to buy was a DJI Osmo Mobile 2. Done. Wife ordered it. Got it. Helped tremendously with all our videos. Any agents watching here, get a gimbal when you're doing your tours, your walkthroughs. One, it helps best with perception and of course walking or the depth. And then I said, okay, well, what apps work the best for graphics? How can I edit? So I found InShot, and then now it's then I started.
Can you mention those again? So Tim had you go buy what?
A DJI Osmo Mobile 2. Now I have a Mobile 4 because it's meant. That's cool. I didn't buy the 3.
And explain what these are, because a lot of people will be like, "What the heck is he talking about?"
These are basically. I like to explain it as almost like handheld drones. They're gimbals, so they're selfie sticks, but electronic. Your phone goes in it, and
so they stay smooth. So everything stays smooth. It's not all shaky.
But the depth perception too. So there's a big difference between when you're trying to do a selfie or a video with just your hand.
Yeah.
Depth, and then a video. And then it also can lock onto your face. So as you talk, when you move, it will walk with you. And it helps. I did it right away. But again, it goes back to just being coachable. You say this, and I tell us all our team, do what your coach tells you the first time. We have our top agent on our team. Her name's Jennifer Zeck. I'm giving her a plug. I've known her since elementary school. She's in year 3. But prior to that, she was in sales. She was in jewelry sales, and plus she's very personable. But I could tell her right now to run around her office 2 times, hit the light pole, and go and shake somebody's hand. She would do it, not even question me. She would call me and say, "All right, Terb, what do we need to do for this video?" I had her cartwheeling down hills. I had her, and she'd do it.
Yep.
And the sky's the limit for her. But she just embraced it, and she did not care about what others. She just does it, and that's why I try to get across to people. And you have some that they don't embrace it. And again, I will say this too: video may not be for everybody. You know, there's a lot of maybe, but
that's just
for
your
me,
thing for marketing.
But that's what the thing is, like, it's 2021. It's like the same people that my kids are 12 and 9. My daughter, my 9-year-old, helped me edit my last TikTok. I'm serious.
You're like, damn, that was pretty
Jenna, I was like, Jenna, how can I do? Because I did this one little, that's my homework. I had to do 2 TikToks this week because TikTok's pretty cool.
It's doing.
And I remember, and I said, oh, that you thought that home was coming soon, and I went, but I edited this volume into it, like. Yep. And she's like, oh, Dad, you just got to go to another app. We're going to upload this. We're going to do that. We're going to come back. We're going to put it in. I'm going. So then I hear people going, I don't want my kids on social. I'm like, it's 2021. Like, that's what they know.
Good luck.
Like, just like 50 years ago, everybody had newspapers.
Yeah.
It's just
I don't
what
want my
it
kid
is.
reading the newspaper.
So I embrace it. You know, if anything, the hardest thing for me is to turn it off. I'm always thinking of what we can do to get better. But that's why I enjoy it. And now I'm trying to take my career into a little bit different path where I can start building similar to Tim, where I can start getting people with the same vision to come and help me.
Cool. I love it, dude. So what would you say are your top 3 pieces of advice for agents if they want to go from 6 figures a year to 6 figures a month? What would you say?
I would say make sure you have a game plan. Start off with a game plan. Have goals. We did dream boards. Have goals. Every Sunday, I game plan for the week. And then consistency. It's not going to happen overnight. That's our biggest problem. So game plan, consistency, and then have fun. And as you always say, unattach yourself to the outcome.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, it's like I just told Tim, because I had a mindset call with him. You know, our calls are Fridays at 10. Mm-hmm. And I listened to y'all's podcast on my TV the other night. And you guys were talking about this because you even said engagement on Facebook's lower, or, you know, what you're seeing.
Yeah.
And I just said to him, I'm like, you know, we get caught up too. And this is a real good lesson, guys. Don't worry about what others are doing. We see other competitors because a lot of us are friends with other agents on social.
Yep.
And there are a lot of my great friends. I want everybody to succeed. It's funny how some agents won't compliment each other. Like, dude, whatever. There's so much business out there. Congrats. Keep crushing it.
Yep.
And but it's easy to get caught up like, oh man, they've sold 10 homes this week. Yeah. And I have 2. Yeah. You know, but then I'm like, just continue the process day to day, accomplish your goals. So if I knew I was going to, my goal this week was to do 3 videos, X amount of cards, X amount of emails, calls. If I even accomplish 80% of that, I've done great. And then before you know it, it's going to explode one month, like 1 week, and it's all.
You know what's crazy? Then you start selling 10 in the month, and then somebody else is selling 20, and you're like, how come?
And that's the funny thing is like here I had my first ever 100,000 month, which that was my goal. Yeah. And then I'm like, where's the next one?
Yeah, like, that's right. I mean, it never goes away.
That's how we're wired, you know.
That is how we're wired. So it's funny because if somebody had asked me before this podcast right here, if they just said, "What's the top 3 things that you think made Terb successful?" I would have said game plan, consistency, and he just learned how to have fun. He was relentlessly consistent. He had first he developed a game plan. He was relentlessly consistent, and he had fun the entire way, and is still having fun today. In fact, it's like your cheat code.
It is, and you can splice this up, Coach. That's what I love about StreamYard. You can do little cuts. Yeah, that's where I geek out too. Hire a coach, man. I'm just telling you, people. You need accountability. You need someone to lean on. It was a blessing. I found David and Tim. What I love about David and Tim, you were a professional athlete. Tim. I don't anger the guy. I remember I went down to shadow his team. I was punching on some of the pads, and he gave me like a little light kick just for fun. Oh, he's like I was bruised for 2 days. I said, all right, I would never. And then you go to his house, and I'm afraid of his dogs, and they're like 3 feet tall. Like, I mean, you're like, if they're anything like you, and they're like, just you got to stay seated when they come out. But hire a coach because you'll hear people. I didn't need that. No, like. if you got to invest in yourself, and you've got to have people. And then so for some, it's not. I mean, some people I'm sure get coaching and it's just something to be able to tell themselves. But like, I know when my call is about to come at 10 o'clock, I better have done what I told myself I was going to do.
Yeah.
And, but I just think it's going to bring the best out of you. Mm-hmm. And you're looking at a guy right in front of me that he's changed my life in regards to just the way I look at things and the way I enjoy life, enjoy what I do. I'm able to, like, that's another goal. Like I told you, I'm wordy here. As I have a goal of when I want to do something, I want to do it. And that's what real estate can do. I don't want to be able to tell. If I want to do it, I'm going to do it. So July 23rd through the 30th, I'm taking my wife. I'm pumped for this. Taking an all-inclusive paid vacation to the Sandals Resort, bungalow style, 3 butlers. It's not about flying first class.
It's not about the bling. It's about that you can do it if you want.
Yeah, it's rewarding. And there's no other profession that you can have this, but it's a lot of hard work. I'll have people sit down and say, I'm going to make $100K. Yeah, because they just hear and see. And as long as you stick to it, you can accomplish everything. So that's what I want to tell everybody.
Dude. It's interesting. I want to go back to the coaching thing before we wrap this up. And that I did an interview with everybody in the league, and I said, why did you end up, joining? And there's 2 common answers. One was, and there was also the question of like, what could we have done to make you see the value faster? And they were like, nothing. I was just stubborn. I thought that I could do it on my own. Until I realized, I could do it on my own. It would just take longer. And that's the thing, dude. You would have been successful anyway. It would just take longer. All we did was help you collapse time down. And that's something that I've discovered, right? That was one of the reasons. And the other reason was why I didn't think I needed a coach. But then ultimately came to the realization, okay, I've had enough suffering. It's going too slow. I want to do it faster. I'm going to get a coach. And I think you understand because, well, you've always been coached, right? Like you were in sports and you understand that. But I get how people see coaching as like kind of spammy now. You know what I mean? Like there's just so many coaches out there that they see it as spammy, but I do appreciate the kind words, dude. And more importantly, I really appreciate you giving people time.
Well, but you're welcome, but you're on a personal level. If people invest, you have David, you have Tim, I have others. There's other programs out there where it's almost like when you go to a big bank, you're just a file number. But when you have that preferred lender, they're going to take great care of you. When I have my clients, one of my lenders, like I know I can call them at 10 o'clock at night. They're going to take care of me. It's the same thing.
Yeah, that's
you guys are there to help. Yeah. You're there to help, and you're there to help us get to that next level. And it's just and it's also and then we're also amongst a community of other top producing agents,
like a family.
It's fun. And so I was excited when he asked me to come on there because this was one of my goals. I wanted a $100K month goal.
Well, dude, we got to get back to events so we can get you on stage, dude.
I know.
We got to get you on stage.
Well, I can't wait.
Yeah, dude, I appreciate you being on here. It means a lot, brother. Yeah, how do people get a hold of you if they got some referrals for your area?
Yeah, just Michael Terbet, again, Terbet, and find me on social. My handles are pretty easy. Everything's Michael Terbet. Also find me on YouTube. Come subscribe to my channel. We'll have some fun. You'll see what I do.
Yeah.
Anybody that's looking to relocate, we have 70 people coming here a day.
And the areas that you work are?
Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill. We're basically Wake County, within an hour. If you've got to come to Raleigh or that surrounding areas, I'm the guy.
That's where I'd send them. All right, brother. I appreciate you being on. Thank you.
Brother. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yep.